Italia was one of the chapters that I chose to write myself, because it was obvious to me fairly soon after the publication of the rules that unless I did it, somebody else would. So the Italian wars are the golden age of landsknechts, and they're very colourful and attractive for wargamers. You have to get past the problem of having to paint all those landsknechts, but once you do, they look gorgeous. So they're a natural for an extension of Billhooks, just moving 25, 30 years beyond the Wars of the Roses. So like in the other chapters, we have special cards for the different armies that fought in there. We have the French with their fleur-de-lis, we have the Imperialists with their Black Eagle, we have the Spanish with the Castle of Castile, and we have the Italians. Now the Italians were disunited at the time, so there's no single symbol that they could use. So I've taken a symbol from somewhere else that some of you might well recognise to be used for Italian leaders. Now, as the period progressed, gunpowder weapons become more and more important. And in fact, there's more and more of them in the battles in the armies of the period. The guns are less likely to explode than in earlier times. But alongside all this gunpowder weapons, you have two elements of brute force. You have the massed pikemen, and the squares are getting bigger and bigger as the wars progress. And you also got large numbers of heavily armoured and extremely expensive gendarmes, particularly in the French army. The leadership style in this period is getting to be less heroic, so commanders tend not to lead from the front, with the significant exception of the French, who tended to go on doing it, at least until such time as Francis I got himself captured at Pavia leading a cavalry charge. So what have we got in terms of new troop types? Well, we've got some exotics in there. We've got Spanish sword and buckler men, or rodoleros. Now these were very effective against pike blocks because they could use their shields to duck under the pikes and then get in there stabbing them. In fact, they were just as good against Swiss pike blocks as they were against swarms of Aztecs at the same time across the Atlantic. You've got some exotic light horse, the Stradiots from the Balkans, and they were arguably as much use off the field as on it, always liable to rush off and loot anything that looked movable. So they have their advantages, but some disadvantages. We've got arquebusiers and crossbowmen operating in companies as well as in skirmishers. And when it comes to the Spanish, we're developing something approaching a more modern all-arms formation. They had their colonellas, which mixed sword and buckler men, pikemen, and arquebusiers in a single formation. So that's one of the formations we cater for in the rules here. And we do make some special arrangements for new fighting methods for the pikemen. They become more and more important, and we make some distinctions between different nationalities in terms of their effectiveness as both pikemen and gendarmes. Some people may find that my assessments rather controversial, but they can adjust them as they see fit. The special scenario for this theatre is the Battle of Seminara, 1503. This is interesting because it appears to be a situation where the time and the place of the battle was agreed upon by the sides involved, which is very unusual for the time, and suggests that the sides were very evenly matched. So that's great for a game. I've presented orders of battle for the French and Spanish forces involved. One of the themes theatre special event cards here will send a Swiss or Landsknecht unit marching off the battlefield in protest of their pay being in arrears. That's called No Money, No Swiss. There's a lot of that sort of thing in Billhooks. Your best laid plans could be scuppered by a cunningly timed event card being played.